Okay, my name is Carlin Jones. I'm a marketing technologist. I'm also the marketing communications director for Proforma Progressive Marketing. As you can see on your flyers, we brand you on everything. So we're a one-stop shop marketing company. My particular division is technology for the company, so I run the technology division, and that's why you all are here, to learn technology, right? We're gonna talk about optimizing Facebook pages, and what does that mean? You know, say optimize this, optimize that. Well, every series of Facebook classes I've been teaching, we've been touching different ways to optimize your pages. This one is going to be really interesting because we're going to look at the what used to be called EdgeRank, is the newsfeed algorithm that controls the marketplace of the newsfeed in Facebook. That's where we need to be as a business if we're going to attract customers to our business, to our Facebook page. So it's going to be very interesting to go through this because that algorithm is a living beast. And as you'll see, from personal pages to business pages, the things that we do to get into there as marketers, to get into that news feed is pretty extent. So last year when I taught this particular class, I had found this quote when I was doing some research. It's almost 30 times easier to get into Harvard than it is to get into the Facebook newsfeed. So, real simply, when we're talking on Facebook, social media, but we're talking basically Facebook newsfeed here. When you sign on to your Facebook page, the first thing you see is your news feed, and right, and then you're just going through the news feed, you're just reading it. You don't sign on to Facebook to go to a business page. How many have ever done that? I'm getting on Facebook, I'm going to go to a business page to see what they're doing. Okay, so point made. So our business has to be in the news feed in order to attract them. So we're going to talk about how we can get into the Harvard of Facebook. The Facebook newsfeed algorithm. If any of this gets too technical, I can dumb it down for you. Just say, dude, I don't understand what you're saying. Now it's good. There you go. That's awesome. So an algorithm is basically a program that's been developed and engineered to go out and basically it's set up with rules and regulations, the program is. And so the engineer at Facebook, that are the engineers that write the code, have set it up with a bunch of variables. And so all those variables are looking, the algorithm's going out there and looking with the variables that the engineer set up to see if it meets the relevancy of what the Facebook newsfeed is going to deem relevant to be seen in the newsfeed. So let's just look at when you go onto your newsfeed from a personal page, and for some reason, because we have two different ways to read the newsfeed, right? What are the two different ways? Anybody volunteer?
Most recent and
what?
top stories.
Most recent and top stories. Facebook, for the most cases, when you get on there, has defaulted to top stories. And so we end up watching or reading stuff that was written yesterday or the day before or maybe even last week. And then we realize, oh, this isn't most recent. We have to go and click most recent, right, to get there. Several times a day. Because the algorithm wants you to see what it feels like is the most important to you, or it has the most buzz, the most likes, the most comments, the most shares. And that's what keeps it at the top of the news feed. But when we're on there and okay, so as a business page, we're looking at a lot of different things that we have to think about for organic growth. And organic growth, are you there with me with the organic growth? Okay, so when something grows organically and we water a plant, it just naturally grows. So when our post grows organically in the news feed, it's using the natural rhythms of the algorithm to get to the top of the news feed. And the natural ways of doing that is that you have created content worthy to be shared by your friends, liked, and commented on. And so we have to talk about all those different things that would cause people to care, because it's the people that will organically grow your posts. I don't think we're going to get into this at all, but I will touch on a little bit on it. Facebook did take down the organic growth on business pages to about 7% the last I looked. So there was a time 5 years ago that organic growth was very easy in all facets of Facebook. It was just a party online. Business pages, fan pages, personal pages, group pages, everybody was just going wild, and we were marketers online. We were riding a roller coaster, and it was a lot of fun. And they shut that all down about a year ago, because then they said, well, now we're going to make money with our business pages, and so we can't have this great organic growth for our business pages anymore. We'll talk more about that. So let me see if any of this. So I think I hit all of this in what I just said without having to read to you this techie stuff, because that's basically what I said is what this is saying to you, and you can look at it on your presentation. So I got a little picture. See, social media networks, online marketing moves so fast that as soon as we have termed something, it goes away. So what we were talking about, the newsfeed algorithm, it used to be called EdgeRank, and it's kind of went away. But the reason it's called EdgeRank was if your stuff was edgy enough, it was ranked high, and it would be ranked high. So all of this is basically what I have been saying, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. You know, knowing what users find interesting is important to the experience they create for brands on Facebook. To aid in that, Facebook recently announced it would make public announcements about updates. This was last year again, this particular one. And that's just meaning for us in the online marketing world that we're listening for the updates of the algorithm, because it's changing all the time and we have to stay. This is what controls what we're saying online and how we're saying it and how we're able to get it online. It's the algorithm. So we're going to keep talking about the news feed is an algorithm. Didn't you see my post? How many people post something and think, well, my friends are going to see that and they should all meet me at this place? I like that. Text message. So basically, so as marketers, and online brand reputation managers, whatever you want to call us, marketing technologists, at the beginning we were looking at websites 10, 11 years ago, and just being sure businesses had their correct URL and banners, and we were just doing regular banner advertising on digital advertising. Today it's social marketing, and then we're boosting it with digital advertising, and we're coming up with creative content every minute, if not every second, because people lose it after 2 seconds of looking at your stuff online. They want something new to look at. But one of the things that we had to learn is, as we were moving to social sites, that the business page, as I was telling you, is not a website, in the sense that we drive traffic to a website and we give them all the information on the website. A Facebook business page, I really like to go back to like thinking about billboards. We understand what a billboard does. We're driving down the street. It has the name of the company. It's branding out the person. If it's a realtor, their face is on there. You know, that sort of, it's developing a good feeling, something that would, an impression. So when we look at a Facebook business page, We have to think of it as our billboard online. And when you think about it as your billboard online, then you start to rethink how you want that cover photo to look. And you start to rethink how you post. Because the power is that it's not just a billboard. It's way more than a billboard. And it's a billboard that talks. What was that movie, LA Story? Right? Where the billboard's talking? Who was I forgot it, the famous comedian? Steve Martin. It was brilliant. So back in the 80s, that was made in the 80s, right? We had a talking billboard. Steve Martin's talking to this billboard. That's what Facebook is. It's a talking billboard. And you're talking back and forth. So not only are you creating an image, you're branding yourself, you're creating a good impression on people. I'm saying this is what you should be doing. It doesn't always happen that way. And it's not always our fault. Maybe we just don't understand how to use it. And so if I'm a talking billboard and I've got a group of people on the street looking at me, am I going to tell that group of people on the street, buy my stuff for $19.99? Buy this for this, go here and buy that? No, because it's not direct marketing. What we're talking about is developing digital community. People that are going to care about you. They want to talk about you, what you do, what you've done for the community. Your Facebook page should be talking about other community events, should be talking about fundraisers, it should be talking about art downtown, it should be talking about things that people talk about, that they care about. So it's a billboard that talks and shows people that your business cares also about the community and that you go out and you support the community. And then you hook up your Instagram account and you put the Instagram pictures up as you go out and about to all of these community events, and you're posted on your billboard, on your Facebook business page. This is developing the content that people are going to care about, that they're going to share, they're going to talk about, they're going to like. It's going to be friendly to the newsfeed algorithm. And it's going to create organic growth that you need, and you need it badly now. You need to badly know how to do it now to get organic growth and not always just have to be paying for it. And I think I explained this slide without having to read it verbatim. Okay, so here's my latest. So staying within the billboards, and I have with me today Proforma Pete. He's my mascot, right? I take him everywhere I go, and I take pictures of him. And I created a digital billboard with a digital software package that looks like a real billboard with Pete in there, and that's at our front desk in our office. And then I put that billboard up on my billboard Facebook page. A little redundancy, but you want to be consistent. Your message needs to be consistent. You need to always stay positive. And you need to, and when you're developing content, if you can't find positive content, if you can't develop and create positive content within yourself, go and emulate somebody else that's doing it, that has a huge following. People are just all over that content. Go get it. Today, to reinvent the wheel on the internet is about the worst thing we can try to do. I mean, everything's already really been invented. We're just repurposing it, and recollecting it, and rebranding it out, right? So if I'm a retail store and I want a retail store online website, I'm not going to go and hire a web developer and we're going to spend $50,000 trying to create an online store. No, I'm going to look at okay, you tell me, where do you go to shop most often on the internet? Amazon.com. They are the best. They're the biggest. And so if I'm a retail business, I'm going to emulate their platform. I also may want to make money, extra money on the side, or add it to my business plan, add Amazon as an affiliate marketer. So if I want to, what's a good example? Okay, so maybe I'm selling books. Maybe I'm selling ebooks. And we have technology, Marcelo and I do, that can actually take this presentation right here, put it into a podcast, have it put into an ebook and sell the ebooks on Amazon. And then if I'm an affiliate, which I would be if I'm selling stuff, but you can be an affiliate if you're not selling stuff. You can just tell people to go to your affiliate site and buy stuff from your affiliate site on Amazon, and you make a percentage. But if I'm just sticking with I'm an author, I'm going to put my book up on Amazon. I'm going to be an affiliate, and then I'm going to use my billboards, all my social media to push it out to the world, and I'm going to be a bestseller on Amazon. And quite honestly, what's really cool is what I'm doing right now can be that book that I sell in a couple days. So this is the newest timeline, right? So before we had it split up where you had a story here and then a story here and a story here, and it was just, okay, confusing. So they simplified it for us. We used to have tab buttons all across here. They're all gone. But this has replaced the tab buttons. So this is my YouTube channel inside Facebook. So people can click here. Hi. They can click here and they can see my YouTube video and not have to go to YouTube. They stay right in Facebook. And I'm going to show you the real life. I'll show you this on my page, hopefully, if we have time. Here is my Twitter account. Here, they click on Twitter, click on this, it opens up my Twitter account inside the Facebook page. They don't have to go to Twitter. So we're not scaring people away off the other social networks, but we're showing them we're really busy on all the other social networks, and we can capture them. And we're giving them the choice. Maybe they spend more time on Twitter or spend more time on YouTube, spend more time on Instagram, which is the other app that I have that you're only allowed 2 apps to spotlight. So I may decide to do an Instagram campaign and spotlight my Instagram tab here. But as I was saying, this is not where people, they don't get on the Facebook and go right to my Proforma page. But when they do get there, you give them a friendly, nice welcome. Hello, this is what we do. This is what we like in our community. This is what we support. We'll stop right there. Okay, guys, we feed you in these classes, so when we have a lot of fun, and we're just got started. So lunch is coming. This next segment, talking about some easy ways to develop good content. Yeah, my little picture there says newsfeed, the right content to the right people at the right time. And then we all say, yeah, how are we going to do that? And where do we get the content? And it's always been said in my industry, for all business, the hardest part of this job is developing the content. Content is the hardest part. It's easy to make a Facebook page. It really is. You know, and it's easy also to put images on there and to, you know, and then there's a lot of easy things to do, and it's free for the most part to have a page, but it's not free to promote your page. It costs your time, it costs advertising dollars, it costs lots. So the biggest thing that businesses over the years, in my experience, is they will have somebody put a Facebook page up for them, and it just sits there with 2 people that hit like on it, right? And that the biggest misconception is that it maybe in their minds it was just like a website, you know. So yeah, we have our Facebook page. We're good to go. Okay. And some businesses would outright tell me that, and I would try to explain, you know, well, let's talk. Let's use this for what it's for, to talk about your company. It's, oh, well, I have it on the About section. I have everything about my company in the About section. So how do people know to even go to the About section? I don't. So, you know, it's not their fault. It's not business's fault. It's just a new way of marketing. It's a new way of thinking. So I'm always having to change their way of thinking. Because traditional marketing, we wrote checks, right? We wrote a check to a TV station. We wrote a check to the radio station. We wrote a check to our advertising company. We wrote checks as marketing directors. Now, as marketing directors, we're having to figure out, our businesses or business owners or whoever's in charge of marketing, we're trying to figure out what this social marketing stuff is all about. And when I talk to businesses, I say, well, what are you doing right now to develop content traditionally? And they tell me, well, we do this, we have this print thing that we do, we have this radio, we do that. I go out to mixers, I go to golf tournaments, I go and talk about my company, I take businesses out to lunch, I do all this stuff. I don't have time to do Facebook. How do I have time to do this, Carlin? I said, well, okay, here's your answer. Just keep doing everything you're doing and make your Facebook business page your mobile billboard, talking about you going out and doing everything you're doing. Don't quit doing that and spend time looking behind your computer trying to figure out Facebook. You already naturally are doing social content marketing in your everyday business as you're talking to customers. If you're an interior designer and you're out talking to your client, that is your story. There's your content. That's how you're talking. You may not know this, but all of you are doing social marketing all the time. You just have to emulate it online and make it fun for people and alive. Like we talked about in the last class about putting your Instagram account, linking it to your business Facebook page. What fun is that now? When you understand you're having fun and you're working. You're doing your job as a marketer, or you're doing your job as a business person. You're going to take so-and-so out to lunch, and you're going to talk to them about your company, and you guys are going to also talk about you both have high school kids going to BHS. They both play football for the football team. This is all content marketing. This is all social marketing. This is what people want to see to get into the news feed. They want to see about you, the business owner, your son playing football for BHS. Now you're capturing their attention, and you're honest, you're real, you're transparent. This is how we do social marketing. This is how we get to the top of the news feed. This is how we say the right content to the right people at the right time. Stuff will start off on social media, and if it's got that just crazy, like, oh my God to it, it will start getting shared and you'll start getting likes and you'll start getting comments. Okay, let's look at a local. Let's not even, well, we have the Hero Cat, right? Yeah. But let's look at a local nonprofit here in town that, or in Kern County, let's say, who has a heartstring like you can't believe. All they literally have to do is just post a picture and go, ooh, ah. Marley's Mutts. There are over 100,000 people on their Facebook page. It's insane. The main thing is that the core of their organization is already hitting the heart. When your business links to an organization that has that foundation that's hitting the heart of the community, and you're supporting them, and you're putting your support there, you're sharing their information, you're talking about them, that brings awareness to your business. So that's how we support charities. This is how we see, and we're not. This is not hype, folks. You don't support Marley's Mutts if you don't support what they're doing. As a business, you look at what your heart feels towards our community. If your heart is with the arts, if it's with downtown redevelopment, if it's with, we can think of a billion things. If it's to support a school in town that's a nonprofit, whatever it is, you get busy supporting them online. You share their information. You talk about them. You're really doing what you really want to do, And as a business, this is where you want to focus your community outreach. In turn, people will not only see that you support them, they'll also want to help your business grow. That is another way to put money into our community. You're supporting another community. You're also putting dollars, your marketing dollars into some of that community action, whatever nonprofit that is. Local businesses, people are going to see that online. And they're going to also either want to support your business or support that community function directly. It's a win-win, folks. Okay, so I want to just get that out. That wasn't really part of my presentation, but it's really important. Now, with the edge rank, or the newsfeed algorithm, the last time I researched this last year, or late last year, and I believe it's still happening because I've tested it, but we have what's called story bumping in Last Actor. Have you ever gone on Facebook in the morning and seen a post at 9 o'clock in the morning, and let's see if and there's nothing on it. I mean, nobody cares about the post for whatever reason. Who knows why? Well, I do know why, and I'll tell you why. But right now we're going to go with the who knows why. And so what typically would happen in the old days, like, see, now I'm saying Facebook is old. Back in the old days, 5 years ago, if you posted something in the morning and nobody said or commented or liked or shared it, it just went down into the Netherlands. You never would see it again. So Facebook was like, how do we bump a post that hasn't been seen? Well, how do they? Well, they control the algorithm. They just write another variable into the algorithm and say, okay, 3 hours has gone by. This poor guy has not been seen, talked to. Nobody seems to care. We're going to bump it. So they do what's called a bump. And then after 3 hours, so that's why, until this goes away, which it might, because everything changes with Facebook all the time. Don't worry. What Facebook is saying, don't worry. For 3 hours, people have seen this stuff, and then we're going to bump you again on your personal page. And it's going to go bumped into the news feed. So it's called I call it 3-hour bump. Story bumping. Now, Last Actor, if this still works the same, again, they may have already changed this. This is already old, and this is 4 months ago, 5 months ago, and this is old news. But with Last Actor, if this is trying to show you that at 8 a.m. somebody liked that post, and because of it, by 10 a.m. the person that liked it is also posted over here at 10 a.m. again. So it's just Facebook's way of trying to be friendlier to the posts that aren't getting any action.
But that's only personal pages. Right?
That's only personal pages. So when did the pound sign become a hashtag?
That's what I would like to know. Twitter.
Yeah, good old Twitter. Does anybody want to take that on? Why is it a hashtag? You don't want to say pound trending. Pound my girlfriend. Was that legal, what I just said? Yes. It's a pound sign, and it was girlfriend. Hashtag, it came from Twitter world. Do you know on Twitter, when it first released, it went gangbusters, and celebrities loved it. And I think it was within the year. Was it the 2007 MTV Awards it won? It was nuts. It took over the old American Idol text for the winner. Remember that? We used to be texting in the winners. Now we just tweet them. We tweet everything for that type of stuff. And The news, local media, it was easier for them to take on Twitter than it was Facebook, because of the way the Twitter was built. It was like, the news right now, in your face, short segments, news right now, in your face. So our local media, news and national news, was able to understand Twitter much easier with their format of how they shared news. And Facebook, of course, came along right along with it, but Twitter actually helped move Facebook onto those platforms. Because Facebook just wasn't, at the time, there were fan pages, and just didn't seem, nobody could really figure it out. So thanks to Twitter, there's my Twitter bit. So now, hashtags work the same now in Facebook as they do in Twitter. Does anybody know what a hashtag does for something?
It's some kind of top of a trending list. Like if you go to your Yahoo account and check your mouth, it'll move what you're talking about.
It groups it with the popular items that are trending, right? So in Twitter, give me an example. Somebody give me an example of why you hashtag one of your tweets.
So you can see what everybody else is tweeting about J-Lo.
Right. Okay. So there's two different functions, right? And so I'm going to relate this right back to Facebook business pages. But if you're just wanting to find out who did you say?
J-Lo.
Find out what J-Lo's doing on Twitter, you're going to just search J-Lo, and then you're going to see everybody that hashtagged J-Lo, which is #J-Lo, right? All of it's going to be grouped into the Twitter feed. So you see everybody talking about J-Lo and then what J-Lo is saying. And it's all about J-Lo. Okay. You could take the same function of the hashtag in Twitter now, and they did this last year, but it's taken a while for people to kind of, we don't really want the Twitter technology on Facebook. It's just got the psychology of this stuff. But what they did is they emulated on Facebook the same thing. So now, and we'll just stick with J-Lo, but if you are on your personal page and you want to search out people talking about J-Lo, you do the same thing. You put in J-Lo, you're going to see hashtag J-Lo, and you'll see who's the latest comments about her on Facebook. Okay, so somebody tell me how a hashtag works for your business page.
Makes it important.
You first.
It makes it important.
Okay, it makes it important. Okay, go ahead.
Internal links. When you hashtag something, you can click it and it will take you to another place that will bring that information to the forefront for you.
So internal links, when you hashtag it, you're finding other links that are talking about that particular subject, right? Okay, anybody else? Okay, so hashtags work really well, especially if Facebook is your #1 marketing tool. Let's say you have Twitter, and you just want to spend time on Facebook right now, but let's say you have your Twitter account linked to your Facebook page. So then if you do, and then if you're posting on Facebook and it's going to your Twitter page, we need to make your Facebook posts friendly for Twitter. Because if you don't make them, and you don't have to do it all the time, but do it at least two to three times. If you post 10 times, at least 5 to 6 times, make them friendly for Twitter. The reason being is your Twitter followers, after a while, will go, this dude is our girl or man or whatever. I don't want to get in trouble here, but this person is always posting off their Facebook page and never on Twitter, because we see FB after every post they make. So if you want to keep the attention of your Twitter followers, so you're going to utilize the hashtag, which is going to help you with Facebook, and it's going to help you with Twitter, right? So you've killed 2 Twitter birds at once. Tweety birds. Oh, I missed the 70s and early 80s and Saturday morning cartoons when they were really cool. Bugs Bunny, you know. See, now I just developed content for my page. You see, I took you back. We're telling stories.
They still have those cartoons on TV.
Huh?
They still have those cartoons on TV.
Yeah, I think if you have cable.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
have cable.
I don't have cable. I do everything on the internet.
Well, there you go. You can look at it.
So now, Now let's just go through this. So I want to use hashtag to market my business. And we're just strictly doing it on Facebook. So this is the day in my mind in the morning while I'm thinking about content to market a client of mine. One of the first things I do is I look at my client, where we're at with their marketing campaign. Then the first thing I would do is go to Google Trends. Okay, I'll go to Google Trends, and I'm going to look at what's top trending, what is being searched at the top of Google Trends. Usually, as you know with Google today, the top trending things on Google are what questions people are asking right now at that time. So they're going to be the questions of what's the top stories that people are trying to get a hold of, what celebrities are being talked about, what educational information are we looking for? Are we looking for recipes? We're looking, so we're going to find what the top 10 trending things are. We're going to look then and see out of those top 10 trending things, what can I relate my business with? Because we want to hashtag the most popular thing happening right now. We find the most popular thing happening right now, and we can tell a story about it. Bloggers are doing this all the time. As a Facebook business, business on Facebook, you're a microblogger. So you're doing what a blogger does. They're going and looking for the top stories. They're integrating it with their blog. So with Facebook, we're going to go find the top stories, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to put our own personal spin on it, I suppose, without hyping it. It's just being real about it. We're going to say, if it's a story, and if you touch politics, which I wouldn't do, if you do, then you touch it in a very, I'm not going to. So if it's a story about the dog that rescued the kid from the middle of the street, you have a story now for your business. You can relate that content to, as a business owner, I have a 3-year-old. I think, wow. I mean, what would happen if my son was in the middle of the street? And just crazy, that dog saved that kid. You see, that doesn't have to be about your business. It needs to be about you. People are going to come to you and buy from you when they feel like they trust you and they know you. Does that make sense? And then we take the hashtag from the story, because it's already trending on Facebook, hashtag dog saved kid, whatever it is, hashtag dog, hashtag kid, whatever that name of that story is, hashtag, in my business page. And I'm talking about that. Now I have good social content that people will care, and it will be seen in the newsfeed longer, because it's going to be connected and grouped with that hashtag that everybody else is talking about. All right, well, they're talking about Marley's Mutts. We actually handle their account, their online store, with all their mutt militia. We do all of their product. So images. So now we talked about content, writing content, how to get good content, hashtags, getting things in the groups, getting found. But nothing beats images. You put images with content, and you're golden. If you could post everything you post with an image, you're golden. And that's why I go back to Instagram. And yeah, Facebook, you can post right off Facebook, and that's great. But Instagram, and we're going to talk about Pinterest, because Pinterest is the one that I was going to bring in for you that we didn't talk about, because last time we talked about Instagram. But Instagram is a social network that's owned by Facebook. Images. Can anybody tell me how in their business that can you think of images that you can use right now to go out and start marketing your company? What? Anybody?
Your face.
Go ahead, Tina.
I was saying your face.
Yep. Self-promotion has been the key to social media marketing since the very beginning. This is the other thing that we keep going back and forth with is what's the best time to post? Hey, when we first started doing this 4 or 5 years ago, we thought we had it nailed. Well, I know exactly when to post. Yeah, we're going to post morning, afternoon, dinner time, and this is when. And we didn't know anything because we didn't have analytics yet to generate that type of information. We were just making it up. We figured, well, people are probably reading Facebook like they did the paper 7 in the morning. We're going to post at that time. Or maybe they're not, so we're going to post at 10 o'clock. Maybe that's not even, we don't know. We're trying to figure out, like, when are people online and when are they looking at your stuff and do they care and why do they care, right? So over the years, they've developed the analytics to be more extensive in the back end of your Facebook business page. So now, in the last couple of years, they've built out when your audience is online on the back end. So you know when your audience is actually there. And Facebook can't tell you in all those analytics, they want you to believe it, whatever they want you to believe, but they can't tell you when they say that your audience is online at this peak time. They can't really tell you, though, if they're actually looking at the news feed, if they're viewing it. All they can tell you is that the person is logged into Facebook at that time.
Is that the little green dot that you see on the right?
Now, the green dot on the right means that your friend is logged into Facebook and has their chat on.
Oh, okay.
I try to keep my chat off because when mine's on, I can't work.
So we can target at the right time and I can have the right content, but if Facebook isn't showing my 900 likers what I'm posting,
And Facebook's
I'm
not.
reaching 17 people.
You're only, yeah, exactly. So let's talk about that. A good question. That's what I was getting to. Facebook has knocked it down to about 7%, 8% view. Maybe. What we used to get 300 or 400 views. And it used to be that if somebody liked your page, they would most likely see your posts. Now they most likely don't. And there is good ways to utilize the Facebook boosting and paying for Facebook ads, and I've done it very successfully and at a low cost and be able to gain those views back in conjunction with organic growth. But I'm not going to talk about Facebook ads right today. I'm talking about organic growth and how we can utilize what's still there. So what we've learned, and I just read a blog that I follow yesterday that is on this exact topic, and he wrote what I'm talking about today yesterday, and so it was really fresh news. And what we're seeing is we don't want to post no longer at the most when our audience is on there the most. We no longer want to do that because now, because of the way the algorithm is written, now your business is going to get lost with your posting when your audience is at their peak time. So remember what we used to call it, the late night infomercials? You know, they actually got a lot of views. They didn't have any competition. And there were people staying up after Letterman or whatever, watching those things. So now with that kind of concept, now we find we're actually getting more organic growth when we post in the non-peak hours. My posts to business pages, because of my personal following, always has a larger organic growth. Your personal page needs to be just as busy, if not busier, and have 5,000 people on it to actually bring more awareness to your business page for organic growth. It is extremely important. So my businesses that don't like Facebook but need a Facebook business page, that the owners do not do Facebook, they won't do anything with it, you know what I do? I said, fine, I'm going to be you then, man, because otherwise it ain't going to work organically. So I have clients that I am the business owner for them. I am on Facebook and I build their personal pages and I talk and I am them about their business. When your fans are online, we were talking about peak. So we're looking at probably wanting to post at this time instead of this time. I do a lot, and for me personally, I've never had a problem with what I post on my personal page. Just keep it positive and inspiring, and I don't care what anybody else does as long as they know that's me, right? So that's how I deal with it in the business world. But we're going to look at getting 10 o'clock, 10 to 1 o'clock in the evening has turned out to be one of the best times to post in a business. 10 p.m. to 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, how do we do this and stay in working hours? We schedule them out. And personal pages used to not be able to do that, and they went back and forth. Do we allow a personal page to schedule out a post, or do we not? And it's like it would show up, and then it wouldn't show up, and then now it's back. So, during the day, on your personal page, or on your business page, whatever, you schedule out a 10 o'clock post. And don't worry, and like maybe even a 1 o'clock in the morning post. And don't worry about whether it's going to be extremely bothersome to people. Most people are not there, and if they're on, then they're online, and you're not bothering because they're awake and they're online. And you also think if you're a person who is marketing to overseas, those people are waking up in the morning. And the other interesting thing that how it generates more of a attention on those 10 to 1 o'clock in the morning posts is then you have that whole early morning of the people on the other side of the ocean liking and commenting on your posts that by the time the people are waking up, it's generated enough relevancy that it's going to be at the top of the news feed for your folks here. But 8 o'clock on is the best time to post from anything, from your personal to your business to your group pages, that you're going to you're going to be able to start your communication, start start a viral push when you're posting. So you could post at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. And those 3 posts will end up being more popular the next day than any post that you make that day. You want to post minimum of 3 times a day, but then you have to figure out when it's going to be best for you. So you're always as you're posting, each business audience is in a different area. So you're always going to be looking at this and figuring out and fine-tuning until you hit a sweet spot. And then you're just going to keep posting in those times, and you'll start seeing a lot more views on your posts organically. Why do we need to be on Google+? Marlene. Say it, stand up or talk louder. I can't hear you.
Because it works directly with Google and search engine optimization.
That's exactly right. We can hate Google+ all we want, but we need to be there. Google owns the world when it comes to search engine optimization. So I'm not going to say I hate anything. I don't find relevance in posting in Google+. So I'm only going to go where I feel like people are actually going to be seeing my stuff. But I post content to Google+ because Google+ only favors its own products. And doesn't only, well, yeah, it pretty much only does. I mean, and then after it favors its products, it favors products that the search engine algorithm thinks is relevant and timely. So we have a Google Place page, we have a Google Plus page, where we make sure all of our information is absolutely correct because we need the favor of Google to get to the top of the search engine.
We post minimally to Google+, but there's not really a need to do more than that.
That's it, no. Just make sure your stuff is always relevant. Yeah. Any other questions?
On a search, will Google Plus pull up before?
Yes. Yes. You know what? It really depends. Sometimes Google Plus or Google Places will pull up if you're looking for a business page. It'll pull up over here on the right-hand side, and then the Facebook page will be somewhere on the top. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn actually will get your quickest search ranking. If you make a LinkedIn page, you make a LinkedIn company page, you make a LinkedIn group page, and you put your information in there, LinkedIn gets a higher rating on Google than Facebook does right away. Okay. I don't know. I think we're done then. If you don't have any other questions, I did not get to Pinterest. I'm sorry. It'll be the next one then. I'll add it. Okay. The next classes are on your flyers. What does it say? July 11th, July 9th and 23rd. We're continuing these series. As you can see, we have a lot more to talk about. And you come with more questions, and you go do things. None of this works if you don't do it. You got to go and do this stuff.